company revenue was 400 million. Asia Pacific which is a fast growing area, even in 2001, used to do about 6-7 million. So we were about 1.5% of worldwide revenue, right? And we got together a bunch of people, and we went through a whole set of exercises. It was a huge organizational success because in 2012, January, when I left the company, at the end of 2011, the company as a whole had gone up to a revenue of 2.5 billion. So from 2001, when the company was 400 million, the company became a $2.5 billion company. And Asia Pacific went from being a $6 million business to a $500 million business, right? And there was actually an interesting exercise we conducted where Goldman Sachs came and did a valuation, and the valuation of the Asia Pacific business was more than the valuation of the entire company. And one of the key reasons, and I take a lot of credit for that, right? But actually, it was all because of one of the things that we're talking and what Lean champions is internal transformation because of reflection within the people who make up. So it all starts with the people, and it ends with the people. And humans are very intelligent. I mean, we don't even understand how intelligent we are, and we think that, oh, you know what? This guy won't understand this, or that guy won't understand this. One of the things that I thank my lucky stars that I did was explain to everybody the why behind the business. What does success mean? Why is that success? Why we can't have this ethereal joy that we love our work and we work in this beautiful place, but we don't have financial results to prove it. That doesn't work. Because the whole world, irrespective of whatever your role and responsibility is, the whole world will judge your success in certain parameters. And not all those parameters are financial. Some of them are. Some are non-financial. But we all have to understand what those parameters are. And depending on the situation, depending on the company, depending on the state of the company, those parameters can vary. But once you list them out and explain to everybody in your team why those are important, then most likely they'll be with you. So asking that question over what is tactical and what is strategic, and why the tactical is not going to be good enough, and why the strategic intent is important, and what does it mean to every individual in the team, that appreciation and understanding can drive a large part of the outcome. Do you see that? Yeah. Anybody feel on the contrary? I mean, the why, understanding the why. And again, when the question of why comes in, I use both my daughters as the lowest common denominator, right? They are 20 and 17. When they were 12 and 15, I started this experiment with them, where I would go and get some out-of-the-box thinking from them. And I'd say, okay, we'll do a trade-off. I'll give you guidance on some things, and you give me guidance on certain things. And very often it would come. 15 is a very dangerous age for those of you who have 15-year-old children, right? That's when they think they know more than you, right? They start to think they know more than you. And I would say, like, look, just hear what I have to say. And I would go through my why routine. Why, right? And I would say, just acknowledge. You don't have to accept. Just acknowledge. And the same thing happens in the workplace. Your people, talk to them and see if they acknowledge. If they don't acknowledge, even after you have defined everything, then there is only one outcome, very harsh in the corporate world, because you're going to be judged. Then you have a brutal conversation whether they are part of the team or not. And that happens all the time. And everybody has a choice. I wrote a book, and earlier I made the mistake of not getting the book today. My mistake. And the book was the fact that got Ernie and me introduced, because I was talking at a large startup convention in Latin America. Ernie's man in Latin America, the Lean man in Latin America, was in the audience, and we got talking. That's how I got introduced to it. But it is about that. Because the thing is, every relationship in the world is not supposed to work out. I mean, that's the harsh truth. And in business, the gap, the chasm between success and failure is often very large. and it's not easy to cross unless you take some tough decisions. So that's why I say I'm an operator. I've been on the hard side of things. And when I matched that with some of the learnings and a large part of what was covered in the workshop, there's a lot to match. And there are a lot of things you can come up with. But I go back to that line. It's great. Okay, so coming to Connect Your Group, today this is what we're trying to do. We don't want to bombard you with a lot of information. There's a website. You can go and check that out. What I wanted to accomplish out of this next 15-20 minutes is to give you a snapshot of what Connect Your is and why Connect Your is relevant. And I think two of you raised this as the list of, when we are taking down the list of questions that you wanted answered. How do you address 2016? Right? So we'll start from there. Why is Connect Your even relevant? So again, we won't go through all the bullets, but you know what we're talking over here. 2016 and the year before that had different challenges. 2016 we've got a whole different set of challenges. These are the external drivers that every organization faces, right? And the dangerous thing is, all these are not discrete, independent outcomes. They are linked, which makes each of them bigger than what they individually are, right? That's happening on the macroeconomic side. The other thing is, being a technologist, I am a very firm believer of the fact that you have to deploy technology in your business. And if you can't, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. And this whole thing about the cloud, and again, we're not going